Move from Crystal Palace, and he'll partner James Beattie up front in a lineup that is to produce more goals than last season. New keeper Tim Howard makes his Everton bow, but the third of the new signings, Joleon Lescott, is only on the bench. Nuno Valente surprisingly included after recovering from an Achilles injury, but Hibbert and Weir are missing, and in Weir's absence, Phil Neville captains the side. There are 3 debuts for Watford and 4 changes to the side that won the playoff final in May. Danny Shittu, Chris Powell and Damien Francis are all included, while 19-year-old Adrian Mariappa makes only his 6th senior appearance, thrown in at the deep end because Jayden Merritt is carrying an injury. Ben Foster's back for a 2nd season on loan, and only 3 of this side have any previous Premiership experience: Powell, Francis and James Chambers. It's taken Watford 6 gruelling years to return to the Premiership. They begin their challenge here on Merseyside. It's a stone's throw from Anfield, the scene of their one solitary away win in their last season among the elite. That have been written off by all and sundry in office sweepstakes up and down the country over the last week or so. But can the Hornets prevail where Wigan and West Ham succeeded last season by defying the odds and comfortably staying up? Both Wigan and West Ham, incidentally, won here at Goodison Park. Everton beginning their life in the Premiership in the 2006-2007 season, hoping amongst hope that the Johnson-Beattie partnership will be one that brings success. The first free kick goes to Watford, conceded by Simon Davis for the challenge on Ashley Young.
That's just mistimed, no malice in it, just mistimed it. But it's a free kick in a very decent position and no lack of height in this Watford side.
Very good side from set pieces as well. 5 inside the penalty area. It was flicked on by Beattie and away from danger under pressure. Lloyd Doyley has a prodigious throw. And that's why there are so many aerial targets still camped inside that penalty area. Peter Walton, the referee, urging Doyley to get on with it as he hurls it in towards the near post. The bounce was awkward, it took it over King, and eventually it's cleared by Phil Neville, but a promising bright start from the Premiership new boys.
Well, that throw is just as good as the corner. I'm surprised that Tim Howard didn't come for it. Wasn't a great deal of pace in the throw, and I thought he could have come.
Nuno Valente, one of the Everton players involved in the World Cup, as was this man Tim Cahill. And Arteta wins the throw. It was away from home that Watford really struggled last season in the elite back in the 99-2000 campaign. Only 5 points in their 19 away games in the Premiership, winning at Liverpool, drawing at Middlesbrough and Sheffield Wednesday, and clearly that has to be markedly improved for them to survive this year. Last year, though, in the Championship, they actually picked up more points away from home than they did at home. Neatly done by Joseph Yobo, who's just signed a long extension to his contract. First touch on an Everton shirt for Andy Johnson. And Danny Shittu's first for Watford was less than authoritative.
That's good pressure on the ball from Andy Johnson, who won the first header, a ball that Everton may have tried to find Beattie with. Instead they found Johnson, and he got up well to help it on.
Not fouled, Andy Johnson, and Mann can bring it away. And James Chambers for Watford. It's caught in possession by Arteta. Doyley backing him up, and it will be another opportunity for Doyley to launch a long throw inside the penalty area, with Henderson making an early run for him. Looked for Damien Francis, but Lee Carsley was able to clear. Away by Stubbs. Shittu. Watford will win plenty of first ball in and around the edge of the penalty area, but it's all about the ability to deal with the second ball. Carsley managing to do that time.
Well, he's having to watch the running of Damien Francis, who's prepared to go and join the strikers there. Everton even this early in the game on the back foot. Real high tempo start here from Watford.
Doyley's throw dealt with by Valente. Beattie. Simon Davis taking on the veteran Chris Powell for pace. Powell had enough of a start, and Foster had such an assured season in the Watford goal last year. Again, doing well to deal with that. Stubbs there ahead of King to find the other. Goalkeeper on loan from Manchester United, Tim Howard. And last started a Premiership match back in April 2005. Just one substitute appearance in the Premiership last season. A foul by the youngster Mariappa on Beattie will give Everton a free kick.
Well, Beattie's clever there, no intention of jumping, just made a bridge there for Mariappa. And it gives Everton a chance to throw a diagonal into that back post area. Beattie the obvious target. Yobo's going off as well.
In from Neville, lower and flatter than perhaps anticipated, although Johnson made that near post run.
Well, that's where you expect to see Andy Johnson showing in the channels. Just a little bit too much pace on it for him to get it under control with the outside of his right foot.
Loose ball breaks for Henderson. And they haven't picked up the run through the midfield. And here's a promising opening. The deflection might have been awkward for Howard, but he did well to clear it after the effort from Ashley Young.
Oh, what a good break from Watford, and Ashley Young just not picked up there in the central area. Had time to get it down and get a shot away. And the deflection, I think, off Alan Stubbs made it a very awkward one for Tim Howard. But they broke so quickly on the left-hand side. Ashley Young offers himself inside here, and there's no one pressing the ball, nobody getting out quickly. Alan Stubbs eventually goes to it. But a good counter-attack from Watford, who've settled so well in this game.
Well, he was Watford's leading scorer last season of the midfielders. In fact, he scored more goals from midfield last season for Watford than any other midfielder since John Barnes some 20-odd years ago. The highest goal-scoring midfielder in the Championship last season. He didn't have problems creating openings. Well, with Ashley Young and then Marlon King, the Championship's leading goal scorer up front. And Henderson has won the free kick this time for the foul on him by Yobo.
I think Yobo's unlucky there. Again, Henderson makes no attempt to jump. Yobo's got to go over the top to win that. The set pieces are going to be a problem this afternoon for David Moyes' side. Chitu's gone up, Henderson as well. Marlon King, another target. And if the delivery is right, Everton are going to have to be on their toes here.
A quartet of Watford players inside the penalty area this time, and again Peter Walton sees something that he didn't like in the penalty area as they were waiting for the delivery. Watford winning the second ball. Chitu trying to set round the challenge. That was a two-footed lunge from Stubbs. And the referee has given a free kick to Watford in a dangerous position again, as Stubbs far from happy with the decision.
Well, he's saying he took some of the ball, but I think it was a follow-through that the referee deemed to be dangerous, and I think the referee's right here. He's leading with the studs there. It is two-footed. And even if he took some of the ball, the follow-through was reckless. He really wants to get out of there, Alan Stubbs. And the point Alan Stubbs makes here is that he takes plenty of the ball, but he's in with both feet. And either way, it's a free kick in a very useful area.
Danny Chitu seems to be okay. Without Jayden Merritt today, he's on the bench, the American centre-half, but he is not 100% fit. That's why Mariappa's playing. The last thing they need is another one of the centre-halves to go off injured. Marlon King orchestrating this latest set-piece opportunity for Watford. This is a hallmark of their play. The wall in front of the wall, trying to completely block the sight of the defensive wall and the goalkeeper. It breaks now for King. And James Beattie felt the full force of that.
He's okay. And he'll be required immediately, because Lloyd Doyley will launch this again into the 6-yard box.
A very assured start for Watford, who haven't been overawed by their surroundings or their place amongst the elite, and rightly so. Valenti's header away. Now Andy Johnson on the break, and his pace could cause real problems for Watford with them defending so high up the pitch. Johnson's made a good 50-60 yards into Watford territory. A near post ball threatened to cause problems. Simon Davis was the Everton player that made the run. Straight away Watford able to win possession and try and hit on a counter-attack of their own. Ashley Young lets it run for King. Well defended by Stubbs.
Maybe the wrong choice here for Marlon King. He had Henderson in the central area coming in from the back post. No angle there for Ashley Young to control that. But I think Johnson's shown this early in the game that if they get the ball in front of him early, he will make defenders turn. He's got the pace to get from here all the way to the byline. Little change of pace here to take him in behind. And unfortunately for Simon Davis, he's just outside the far post by the time it arrives for him.
His goals at Crystal Palace elevated him into the top 10 of the club's all-time goal-scoring list. He scored his goals quickly as well. Arteta now should have done better. It was a clear opportunity for Everton, certainly their best of the game so far.
Well, I think if David Moyes could have picked a player to have that chance, it would be Mikel Arteta. Normally, so good on his right side, terrific technique normally. He's got the time to let it drop to a nice height, and he really should be scoring there.
Well, he scored the one Premiership goal last season. That was in December at Blackburn, but he was voted Everton Player of the Year. It's been a very open game, an entertaining first 15 minutes. Now Johnson brings it down neatly. That's what he's all about. That's why they paid £8.5 million for him. That is why they think he will be able to join the likes of Dixie Dean, Graham Sharp, Bob Latchford in Goodison Park folklore. Everton won, Watford nil, and it's taken Johnson only quarter of an hour to mark his debut with a goal.
Well, they got the benefit of a deflection, but no one would grudge him. A terrific interplay from the two front players. I think it took a nick as he pulled the trigger there, but he certainly deserved it. Won the first ball. Good return ball from Beattie. Terrific touch in the chest. And the touch took it away from Ben Foster, but given the start that Andy Johnson has made to this game, you've got to say it was coming.
The 98th goal of his career. And credit as well to James Beattie, who set up that earlier opportunity for Mikel Arteta. And he sets up his new strike partner as well. 1-0 to Everton. Davis. Johnson. Still Andy Johnson goes to ground. Everybody wanted a penalty. Peter Walton, the referee, completely unmoved, and wasn't too much of an appeal from Johnson, truth be told.
I think the referee's got that one right, but the worry there for Watford, I think, is the way that Andy Johnson ran off Shitu. Switched off for a second, Johnson on his way, and he just couldn't get the ball in front of him. And that would have been of the very soft variety had that been given.
Marlon King, the first player to score 20 league goals for Watford in a season since Luther Blissett back in 1985. Unsurprisingly, on the back of that, voted Watford's Player of the Year. One of several making his Premiership debut relatively late in his career. Today his 288th career appearance. Marn's well over 300 before he's played a Premiership game. Powell, the only player in this Watford side with any significant Premiership experience at all. Hoisted forward from here. Awkward one for Stubbs to deal with, and a half chance for Marlon King that he couldn't take.
Well, it is an uncharacteristic error there by Alan Stubbs. He had a lot of time to think about this. The ball's in the air a long time. Looked to have plenty of time. Came off his knee. And sat up nicely there for King. And up until now, Everton have defended this type of ball in pretty well. Watford haven't won too many of the first ball into the box. Just a little bit of a warning there for them.
Johnson cleverly bought himself a yard of space in behind Mariappa. This time he was brought down on the edge of the penalty area.
I think Watford are looking for a free kick by Johnson on Mariappa, but once he gets in behind, Andy Johnson's only got one thing in his mind: making a yard to get left foot shot away, and he is muscled out there. And this is a terrific position. Lee Carsley and Arteta, you would think, favourites to take this on. And it's in a horrible position for Ben Foster to try and even get a wall lined up. Dead centre.
Yellow card for Danny Shittick. Nuno Valente standing over it with Arteta. With a right-footed shot of the Spaniard or the left-footed shot of the Portuguese international. Six Watford players in that wall, although the presence of two Evertonians making it a little bit difficult. Johnson lurking with intent as well. It's Arteta. It's a good strike. Very close to goal number 2. Beat the wall and the goalkeeper, but not the crossbar. Francis in very strongly, and this will be a further punishment to be administered by the referee. A yellow card for Damien Francis for the challenge on Valente.
Well, Lady Boothroyd will be disappointed with another booking, but delighted that they got off the hook at the free kick. A resigned look there from Damien Francis. I think he knew he was looking at a yellow as soon as he made the challenge. He was well high late. And look at the way Mikel Arteta works the football here. And Ben Foster wasn't getting there. That's a fraction lower it's in.
Nuno Valente wasn't expected to play today. He's been carrying an Achilles injury and only returned to training on the back end of the week. I just wonder whether it's that same Achilles injury that's been exacerbated by that. And obviously the contact from Francis was much higher. It just seemed as though the ankle turned as he landed. He's back on his feet, just feeling the thigh, tattooed by Damien Francis as a welcome to the season.
Well, you can see the mark on his right thigh there, but better it's a little bit higher than taking the full weight there on his knee.
Well, he's only got 3 forward inside the penalty area. Might only need 3. So close from Tim Cahill, back off the inside of the post. And they've hit the woodwork twice in the space of as many minutes.
Tim Cahill at his very best there. Wonderful ball in. Horrible ball to defend. So much pace on it. Goalkeeper can't come for this. Doesn't have time, he's not in there long enough. On one of the few occasions in this match, Cahill, who's been sitting a little bit deeper with Lee Carsley, has gone ahead of the 2 front players.
And he's onside again. Shitu's defensive clearance, back from Neville. Well, when they conceded the goal, Watford didn't deserve to be behind, but it's certainly Everton that are asking the much more pertinent questions now in the penalty area. The set piece of delivery of Mikel Arteta has been integral to their purple patch over the last 10 minutes or so. The lead 1 there, it could so easily have been 3. Here's Arteta again, feeding Johnson this time. About kept in by Young, an intelligent header from Henderson. Watford looking to stretch Everton, coming back the other way. Stubbs backing off. Henderson's found Francis, and Howard with a little bit of a juggle saves at the second attempt.
It's a decent effort from Francis. All you can ask of him here is that he works Tim Howard, and he does that. Strikes it pretty sweetly as Alan Stubbs is trying to come and press, and that's good handling from Tim Howard.
Offside flag this time against Phil Neville. Just for a moment, appealing for handball against Ben Foster. I don't think he realised the flag was kind of been caught offside too many times in his career. Phil Neville. When Foster looked to take the free kick quickly, James Beattie wasn't 10 yards away, the ball hit him, and the referee obliged to give him a yellow card.
I don't think the referee's a choice here. It's a cheap booking for James Beattie to pick up. I don't think he can have any complaints here. It definitely goes to the ball. But I don't think David Moyes will be too disappointed with what he's watching so far.
Somehow the free kick finds its way through for Ashley Young. Gavin Mann! Straight at the goalkeeper, and if he got it either side of him, it would have been 1-1.
Well, he's got plenty of time. He's coming on to it, sees the flight of the ball, and he's under no real pressure here. May have been Arteta who's trying to get back and apply a little bit of pressure.
Arteta. Sir Alex Ferguson, a more than keen observer. This time next week, Manchester United will be Watford's opponents down at Vicarage Road. Opening 45 minutes of much promise for Everton and for their new signing Andy Johnson, who paid the first instalment of his £8.5 million transfer fee back with a goal on 15 minutes. It did take a deflection, but it's been a 45-minute performance from Johnson that had much to admire. They've hit the post and the bar as well. Everton the better side at half-time. It's Everton 1, Watford 0. A double change for Watford at the start of the second half, with Jay Demerit and Hammer Bouatsa coming on to replace Chambers and Mariappa. Will it bring the necessary change in fortunes for Adi Boothroyd's Hornets, who again are on the front foot right from the off in this second half, as they were the first? Here's Lloyd Doyley for them. Ashley Young, who will play almost as an orthodox right winger now in this second half, with Bouatsa's introduction on the left-hand side. And the first opportunity for Doyley to launch a long throw inside that penalty area. Henderson looking for the near post flick, but it was easy for Carsley. Back in from Demerit's first touch of the game. Yobo going shoulder to shoulder with Marlon King, and Valente's clearance eases the danger for Everton. Back from Demerit, who was one of the goal scorers in the playoff final last season. And now he's got more customary defensive duty to try and perform. He got the better of Andy Johnson in the first time of asking.
I think Andy Johnson's looking for a free kick, but I think the referee was spot on again. There's still a bit of work left in this match for Everton. David Moyes will be more than happy with the first half performance, but having scored, hit a post, hit the crossbar, he will feel there should be more daylight between the sides.
Challenged by Buatsa on Davis. Watford's potency from set pieces has already been alluded to by some of their play in the first half. The 1-0 lead has never looked particularly fragile, but there's no what Watford have in their arsenal. And they've won another free kick, this time for a foul by Cahill on Man.
This is where Everton so far have been first class, winning the first ball, these diagonals that are coming in.
Not one of the easier ones that they've had to deal with so far. That's a Watford ball. And Doyley eager to push forward to launch a long throw inside the penalty area. Shitu forward from the back. He looks for the near post flick, but again Everton win the first ball. It was Cahill who climbed high.
Well, Cahill got above Shitu, must be giving away 5-6 inches in a height advantage there, but he was still up for it.
In from Demerit, just keeping Tim Howard honest. Well defended by Stubbs.
Well, had to be his last defender. King was in behind, Alan Stubbs wasn't going to catch him, so he had to win the first one.
Well, two changes by Watford at half-time, and Everton poised to make a change in the opening 5 minutes of the second half as well, and it'll be Jolyon Lescott who will come on for his debut, and it's Nuno Valente who picked up that knock in the first half that comes off. Valente not able to run off the thigh injury after the challenge by Damian Francis. So the third of Everton's three summer signings makes his debut.
I thought he might have gone straight into the centre of defence with Yobo going left back, but Yobo has been so good in this game, so solid, that David Moyes not wanting really to disturb that central pairing.
Here's Neville. Davis. Space for Phil Neville to measure the cross. Buatsa got back to cover eventually. Clearance by 35-year-old Chris Powell, but his touch was not the best. Everton just unable to make any headway. Johnson hoping for a deflection to buy a corner. Finished 11th last season in the Premiership, 17 points behind Arsenal in 4th, which doesn't sound too clever when you consider that Everton themselves have finished 4th the previous season, but when you take into account the shocking start that they made, if they'd won on the last day they would have finished in the top half. When they only had about 1 point after the opening 7 or 8 games, it was a very good recovery and bodes well for this season with that momentum. Here's Buatsa. Almost a perfect ball.
Well, a better angle in, I think that takes Tim Howard out of the game. Just couldn't find the angle, but he's hung it up beautifully, but just pulls it back a little bit. Chance of someone at the back post to come on to the end of that.
Launch ball from Foster. Probably goes down as an attempt on target, but Stubbs and King.
I think Alan Stubbs took a chance there. He's not within playing distance of the ball. He took a chance of giving away a penalty.
Johnson making a run. Simon Davis finding him. James Beattie in the centre. He was just a little bit behind him and he couldn't wrap enough of his right foot around it, but it was another great passing move from Everton.
It certainly was. Terrific ball from Davis. Johnson showed wide first of all, clearly wanting inside eventually. Good early ball in. And as you said, Jim, just slightly behind James Beattie, couldn't power it at all.
Difficult to draw any real conclusions after an hour of a Premiership season, but it does look like a very good partnership up front. Beattie and Johnson in the making for Everton. They're best for a while. Well, perhaps out sight. Simon Davis there. Here's Marlon King for Watford. But a good shot from distance, but that was easy for Tim Howard.
That's a very decent effort. First time that he's managed to get half a yard here, and Joseph Yobo, he's got time to get the shot away. Plenty of power on it. Fortunate enough for Tim Howard, straight down his throat.
Henderson. Too ambitious.
Well, Watford have certainly succeeded in quietening this Goodison Park crowd here today. Davy Moyes will be absolutely desperate. I'm sure the chairman will as well, to get off to a better start than last season, where they lost their first 4 home games on the bounce.
The worst part for Everton last season was the fact that they averaged less than a goal a game in the Premiership, and Davis is caught offside there, and he's got to be careful when he kicked the ball away. It's hard to see this Everton side averaging less than a goal a game this season. Henderson, was he pushed over by Neville on the edge of the penalty area? Mann trying to help it forward. Cahill gets it clear. Johnson picking up possession and again cleverly finding himself some space. That was almost a perfect crossfield ball for Arteta as well.
Let's put the midfield in trouble. Look, chance for Watford to break on here. Everton caught, committing players forward.
Doyley, Ashley Young, 2 in the centre for him. And Everton, I think, will be more than happy that they've only got a corner to defend.
Well, it all came from the square pass, the long square pass there from Andy Johnson, a slack one that was cut out. All of a sudden Everton in the back foot, and I think Watford were looking for handball as the ball came in. May have played Alan Stubbs, clearly it wasn't deliberate.
The out-swinging corner, flicked on by Henderson. Cahill able to bring it away, and he's cleverly found James Beattie. Davis wanted the early ball play, and in the end Beattie just couldn't quite flick it to him down the channel. Nice ball for Boatsa. King at the far post. Henderson is in there as well. And it's come off the top of the bar.
Well, it's clearly intended as a cross, but he's almost found the top corner. Not what Tim Howard could do about this. This ball just takes him right out the game, and he almost gets lucky.
Watford having as much joy in the opening stage of the second half as they did in the first, but it was about this stage in the first half that Everton scored their goal and consequently got on top.
Starting to get a little bit deep, Evan. You know, if they are going to lose headers, they want to lose them up the pitch. Don't want to lose them on the edge of their own box. Alan Stubbs, who's been at the heart of everything, as usual. And Watford were looking for a handball against the Everton centre-back as the ball came in here.
Stubbs. Here's Henderson. Will it sit up for a half chance? Francis scored here last season, arguably should have scored an equaliser today.
Well, Alan Stubbs again won the first ball, but he headed it into the central area, didn't manage to get it wide. Lee Carsley does really well here to tuck in and get a tackle in, but it sat up nicely for Francis. Just couldn't open his body enough to get it back across goal or inside the near post. And that goes down as a decent chance. Just rejigged that midfield. James McFadden going to play left of that four now. Mikel Arteta one in beside Carsley, and Tim Cahill now playing right side.
Foul on Anichibi. Pushed by Jay DeMerit, the centre-half from Green Bay, Wisconsin, who was picked up after a trial match a couple of years ago, playing against Watford for local non-league team Northwood. 2 years later, he finds himself in the Premiership. Cahill. One of Neville outside and went for Anichibi in the centre. No foul by DeMerit. Mann can find Buatsa to help it away for Watford. Kings found a yard of space and shot straight at Tim Howard, and that was a clear opening again for Watford.
Why, had so much time. Just did so well to wrong foot Alan Stubbs. Get himself onto his left foot. Might have been happier on his right side, but look at the time and space he's got here. And he really should be asking more of Tim Howard from that range.
Clever flick on from Johnson. McFadden. Cahill, will he get there first? Was that handball? Yes! Penalty conceded by Chris Powell, who's claiming the ball hit his head. But it was an awkward slide in, and the referee's assistant has flagged and given the penalty.
Now, it'll be interesting to see it again, Jim, because everyone got the benefit of the doubt with Alan Stubbs in the first half. Cahill at full stretch here. Well, hit his head first of all. I'm not sure he can get his arm out the way. And I think given that Everton got the doubt over the Alan Stubbs handball, I think Watford can count themselves unlucky.
Well, the referee's assistant made an instant call. Johnson wanted to take the penalty, scored 11 successful penalties in his last season in the Premiership, but it will be Arteta who will take responsibility. Chris Powell at 35, adamant that the ball did not hit his hand, and clearly irate. Mikel Arteta to give Everton probably an insurmountable 2-0 lead. It was a fortunate penalty, but put away with aplomb, and Everton surely now will get the new season off to a winning start.
Well, it's a big goal from Mikel Arteta. Takes so much of the tension out of this game for Everton and the supporters. They've been walking the high wire in the second half, living very dangerously at times. It's a great penalty. Just opens his body at the very last moment. Looked as if he was going to reverse it. Second into the side netting. I think even if Ben Foster had gone the right way here, he wasn't saving that.
Only Arteta's 5th goal for Everton. He's already got as many in the Premiership as he did last season, thanks to that man. Chris Powell has played 700 games before today, and he's seen it all in football. A career that has lasted 17, 18 years, but I doubt he's ever given away a penalty by heading the ball out for a corner before.
It didn't appear to strike the arm. The arm was high, but you could clearly see him explaining to the referee that it hit his head, not his arm. And if that is the case, that is a sore one for Watford to take. Even more so given the handball that might have been given against Alan Stubbs first half. And this was a decision, Jim, that was given by the assistant, and if the assistant is going to guide the referee, he has to be 100% sure. Certainly struck the hand, and there's no contact with the arm at all. That is a poor decision and a very costly one for Chris Powell and Watford.
Should have gone down as a piece of excellent defending. Fortunately, it goes down as a piece of less than excellent officiating. As you say, Davey, I think it's the fact that they didn't have one, a very similar one, given at the other end. All that players and managers ask for is consistency.
Well, even if it did hit his arm, if it had come off his head onto his arm, it was very similar to that of Alan Stubbs.
Francis should have pulled one back there.
No, I certainly should have. It's an awkward one, the ball's on the up, he's taking on the half volley, but he's got to get over that and drill it onto the target.
Second goal seems to have disheartened Watford. Understandable, I guess, in the manner in which it came. Into the final 2 minutes now. Here's McFadden. And Achieve. Stretch, but couldn't bring the ball into his stride.
That's a good early ball from James McFadden. It was the right ball as well. May have been tempted to take it into the corner, run the clock down, but Achieve made a very good run for him.
Shitty. Ashley Young's his target. And Lesker concedes the corner. Away by Yobo, but only as far as Shittu's control let him down, and Johnson will be able to get the ball out of harm's way again for Everton. Cahill, two in the centre. Powell has steered it back to his goalkeeper, but really Tim Cahill should have found either Arteta or Anachibi.
Chris Powell redeemed himself there because it was he who played Tim Cahill onside, deepest defender in the central area.
Prishkin. More time and spacing than he might have expected there. Francis, and the deflection puts it in. Watford have their first Premiership goal. It will be claimed initially by Damien Francis. It will ultimately end up as an own goal. And in stoppage time, Watford get themselves back in the game.
It was hardly a clean hit, looked a bit of a miss hit. They get 2 against 1 in the corner. Priskin sets it up. Not a great effort, there's very little power in it. And the deflection off Alan Stubbs wrong puts Tim Howard. And whatever is left in this game, it's going to be an awkward period of time for David Moyes to overshot.
There will be a minimum of 3 minutes of added time.
And the fourth official indicates there will be an extra 3 minutes, and that own goal from Alan Stubbs just underlines how important that penalty given against Chris Powell wrongly is going to turn out to be. Can the Hornets provide a late sting in the tail? Lee Carsley, who lost possession down by the corner flag, which was the precursor to that Watford goal. Goodison Park decidedly nervous again. Lescott's header away. Given away, Doyley. There's still time for Watford to mount more attacks on the Everton goal. Shitu sprints forward from the back. Doyley's throw aimed towards him, and it will be followed by another. Given away by Carsley. Johnson. And Achibi went too early. I don't think he was offside when the ball was ultimately played, but certainly he had strayed into an offside position beforehand, and he's going to get a yellow card for kicking the ball away.
It's a tight decision. I'm just surprised Andy Johnson made the pass. I thought he would have run the ball into the corner there. As it is, they've lost possession.
Another chance for Watford to send the ball sailing into Everton territory. McFadden defending on the edge of his own penalty area. He was fouled, to the relief of 40,000 Merseysiders in Goodison Park.
It looks as if Watford have just run out of time. I'm sure Eddie Boothroyd will have plenty to say about the penalty that cost his side so dearly for that second goal. Again, Alan Stubbs, I think, is fortunate there that he's not penalised for holding.
The only saving grace for Tim Howard there was that he managed to get distance on the kick. He's returned possession straight to Watford. 3 minutes of stoppage time all but up. Francis. One last chance for a long Lloyd Doyley throw. No, there isn't. The full-time whistle goes, and Everton have beaten Watford by 2-1. Andy Johnson marking his Everton debut with a deflected goal in the opening quarter of an hour. And it all looked pretty comfortable by and large until about the hour mark. Watford getting themselves back into the game. Chris Powell very unlucky to have a penalty given against him, and he's just consulting with referee Walton again. Penalty given for handball, and the ball clearly hit his head. Watford did get one back in stoppage time with an Alan Stubbs own goal, but Everton hang on. Watford with positives to take from their opening day, but no points. Everton beating Watford by 2-1.
Whatever, congratulations, off to a winning start. Were there times in the last 20 minutes perhaps when it was a little bit more nervous than you'd have liked?
Yeah, but I think we got the second goal, possibly in that last 20-minute period as well, and I thought that had calmed us. It got us 2-0 in front. But for the last 2 or 3 minutes was a bit nervy. We gave away a poor goal, enough on full time, which caused that. But overall, delighted getting the 3 points.
What was your view of the penalty?
Well, I thought that from where I was sitting was the boy slid in to block the ball with his feet, and I'm guessing it must have hit his hand. I'm getting told now it's hit his face. Even if it had hit his hand, I don't think a penalty kick should be given in those situations. And because the boy's going to defend it properly, he's trying to make up some ground, sliding in. But it was given, and we're grateful for it.
You got off to the perfect start, not just getting an early goal, but your record signing, scoring that early goal.
Great stuff, and I told him not to score his goals in pre-season, keep him for the Premier League, and I'm sure he'll gain a lot of confidence from that. And you can tell by how the crowd have taken to him here. What he gave the team today was a threat all day, and hopefully there's more goals to come.
So Everton beat Watford by 2-1 at Goodison Park.